With the 2026 World Cup only now months away, the load of pressure in the football world is now slowly moving from club-side managers to the national team coaches. For some nations, picking a squad to go to the World Cup is as straightforward as it can be, but not every coach will have that luxury. Some are going to have a really hard time making their picks, and today we're going to see who has it the hardest and in what particular positions. These are the 8 biggest selection headaches ahead of the World Cup.
Look, I'll be honest, we're swamped. The World Cup hype is real and Goal90 Shop is officially at capacity. If you ordered this week, please bear with us for a 2-week processing delay. It's a good problem to have, but we are working around the clock to get your gear out. Thank you for your massive support.
The first one comes in the Brazil attack. We really do not envy Carlo Ancelotti right now. Brazil is the most successful nation in World Cup history, but having not won the prestigious trophy in about a quarter of a century, the pressure is really on. After all, it is the reason they broke their tradition to hire Carlo, a non-Brazilian. Now, while the goalkeeping and defensive positions pretty much pick themselves, the real headache comes in the attack. There are just way too many options with very limited spots available. You would expect that Vini and Rafinha already have guaranteed spots, but with Rodrigo and Richarlison having fallen off this season, do they go due to previous performances with the national team, or will they get dropped? What about the likes of Endrick, Matheus Cunha, Gabriel Martinelli, Estevão and João Pedro? They're all enjoying a good run of form at their various clubs and deserve consideration. Which of them will be picked? And he also cannot ignore Igor Thiago. He doesn't have any experience with the Brazil national team and doesn't play for a big club. But when a striker is pushing Erling Haaland for the Premier League Golden Boot, how the heck can you not take him to the World Cup? And let's not forget that Antony is still doing well at Real Betis, and Gabriel Jesus has returned from injury and is now performing really well for Arsenal. But Ancelotti also cannot ignore the home-based players like Vitor Roque and Carlos Vinicius, who are banging in goals in the Brazilian Serie A. You can see how much of a headache this is. But the biggest headache of all will be what to do about Neymar. He's the country's biggest star, and we're sure Brazilians want to see him in that squad. But does Ancelotti feel he's fit enough? Are there other players more deserving of a spot in the squad than him? Will he be able to make a massive difference if he's selected? These are the questions Don Carlo must answer, and quickly too. But while Ancelotti's headache comes in the attack, Luis de la Fuente's own comes in the goalkeeping position. There's no country with as many top goalkeeping options as Spain right now. For years, the coach has persisted with Unai Simon as his number one, and that even won him the Euros 2 years ago. But there's a lot more pressure on him right now. In addition to Simon, Spain have David Raya, a 2-time Premier League Golden Glove winner who's going for his 3rd this season. There's a rejuvenated Robert Sanchez who led Chelsea to Club World Cup victory last year and is pushing Raya for the Premier League Golden Glove this season. Then the newest kid on the block who can no longer be ignored, the 24-year-old Joan Garcia, who has taken the world by storm with his amazing reflexes and incredible saves, and also has the advantage of playing for one of the biggest clubs in Spain. One of these 4 top goalkeepers playing for top clubs around Europe will have to be left at home, and no matter who it is, De La Fuente will receive massive backlash. Mind you, we didn't even mention Kepa Arrizabalaga, who's not doing badly at Arsenal, the experienced David De Gea, who's one of the best shot stoppers in Italy right now, and Alex Ramiro, who has been a regular call-up for Spain in recent years and was even the 3rd goalkeeper at the last Euros and Nations League. But it goes beyond who's going to be left at home, who's going to be the number one. Compared to other positions, the goalkeeping spot doesn't involve so much rotation, so whoever you choose is likely going to be the man all the way to the end, while the rest will have to make do with being on the bench. Making that choice out of these top options is surely going to be very difficult. But this is not even the only position where Spain's manager will be having a massive selection headache. Can you tell us what other position we're referring to here? Take a shot in the comments, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Done? Okay, now let's move to England, where Thomas Tuchel will be having a massive headache in the number 10 position. With Cole Palmer, Jude Bellingham, Morgan Rogers, Phil Foden, Morgan Gibbs-White and Eberechi Eze all available to be selected in the attacking midfield position, who's going to be left at home? You can say that Bellingham can be pushed to central midfield, but it appears that Tuchel has made up his mind to pair Declan Rice with Elliot Anderson in the base of midfield. So the competition in the number 10 position is super fierce, and one of these big name players is likely going to be left at home, and it certainly won't be an easy choice. Another massive headache he'll be having is in the number 9 position. Of course, Harry Kane is going to be the first name on the team sheet and the starting striker all through the tournament. But who's going to be his deputy? That's where the headache comes in. Does he go with Ollie Watkins, who's sort of a different profile, a resurgent Calvert-Lewin who just can't seem to stop scoring, a 29-year-old Ivan Toney who says he's still hungry for goals, a dynamic Dominic Solanke who can produce a goal out of nothing, or does he just focus on the future of the national team and select the young Liam Delap? Now, from England's attack, let's go to France's attack. Kylian Mbappe is obviously going to be leading the attack, but who plays around him? That's where the headache comes in. Michael Olise, Ousmane Dembele, Ryan Cherki, Marcus Thuram, Bradley Barcola and Desiree Doué. Then there are players like Magnus Akliush and Randall Kolo Muani you just cannot completely ignore. There's also Christopher Nkunku, who's having a bit of a resurgent season. But one of the biggest headaches for Deschamps will be what to do with Hugo Ekitike. He's so good, so productive and generates a lot of activity. He's a guy you just have to involve in the setup. Now, while we're pretty confident he'll be named in the squad, what exactly will the coach do with him? Push Mbappe to the wing to accommodate him in the 9, play him on the wing, or just leave him on the bench? Now, that's a massive selection headache right there. Now, remember we said there's another headache for Spain's coach? It's at left back. Marc Cucurella, Alex Grimaldo, Alejandro Balde and Alvaro Carreras are all top players playing for top clubs around Europe, and it's likely that 2 of them won't go to the World Cup. Cucurella seems to be first choice at this point, so the other 3 players are fighting for the deputy spot. It's not going to be an easy choice at all, but it's one that has to be made quickly. Now, over in South America, the defending champions will also be having a massive headache. Argentina has too many attackers right now. Lautaro Martinez and Julian Alvarez are guaranteed picks, but there are some players who cannot be ignored. Joaquin Panicelli is currently fighting for the Golden Boot in League One, while the trio of Thiago Almada, Giuliano Simeone and Nico Gonzalez are currently tearing it out for Atletico Madrid in Spain. You also have Nico Paz and Emiliano Buendia, who are having really brilliant seasons at their respective clubs. They're primarily 10s, but they can also play in a front 3. And it's just impossible for you to ignore Paulo Dybala. He might be 32 and not at his best anymore, but if he's fit, he's someone that can contribute immensely, just like he did in 2022. Jose Manuel Lopez, who plays in the Brazilian League, has received recent call-ups and will also be considered. Then you must also think of the youngsters. Franco Mastantuono and Claudio Echeverri are signed to top clubs and are the future of the national team. Do you give them their first taste of a major tournament? And after Gianluca Prestiani's recent alleged racial abuse of Vinny, does Scaloni just leave him out as a form of punishment or still involve him? But of course, the elephant in the room will always be the captain. Should Messi play every game for Argentina like he did at the last World Cup, or should he be given a secondary role this time around? These are very difficult questions Scaloni will have to answer. Let's now wrap up with Portugal. Rafael Leão, Francisco Conceição, Gonçalo Ramos, Pedro Neto. These are guys who are doing well for top clubs around Europe and also have experience with the national team. Carlos Forbes is an electric young player who shone in the Champions League game against Barcelona and will have to be in the mix. Francisco Trincão and Pedro Gonçalves are having really good seasons at Sporting, while Juan Felix is doing well in the Saudi Pro League. These are 8 really good players battling for 3 positions. A couple of them will have to be left at home, and making that decision won't be easy at all. And the biggest headache of all, what to do with Cristiano Ronaldo. He is 41 years old and might not be able to press as much or make movements he used to make some 10 to 15 years ago. But he's still one of the most potent goal scorers in the world and a big difference maker, so it presents a dilemma. Do you still give him a major role and play him in every game? Or do you manage his minutes, let the younger players take the front foot and only bring him off the bench when he's needed? You can see the merits of both, but whatever decision Martinez takes will be met with criticism by one camp, and if anything goes wrong, the blame will land on his desk. It's a massive, massive headache for him. Now, there are surely more big selection headaches ahead of the World Cup. For example, who starts at centre-back for Argentina? They have Lisandro, Romero, Foyth, Otamendi and Senesi. Do Ghana try to convince Eddie Nketiah and Callum Hudson-Odoi to switch nationalities, or do they just make do with what they have in Semenyo, Kudus and the others? Who starts at centre-back for France? Konaté, Saliba or Upamecano? Feel free to keep this going in the comments. What other big selection headaches do you think national team coaches around the world are having ahead of the World Cup? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.